All right, all right. Good morning, everybody. Maybe even afternoon. Moses. Shaky, hello. John Florian, good morning. Just a quick sound check. If you ever, all of you can just type one real quick. Make sure my mic was being weird. It's unplugging. It's acting strange again. Can y'all hear me okay? Phenomenal. Oh, markets are looking okay. Looks like we've triggered at least triggering levels on the NASDAQ. US 30. John, we can actually talk about that a bit. Hello, Cam, aka Ben. Am I Ben? Or are you Ben, Elite? Gold is trappy. No, that looks good. That looks great. I definitely want to trade this. I want to get chopped up in there. That looks like fun. Just kidding. Liking the Dow. Okay. Letting some people flow in here, and I'm just taking a glance right now at everything. I think I'm going to delete all of the annotations. We'll start over. And I just like this song too. It's one of the free songs on YouTube, but it's pretty good. I don't mind listening to this one. And the ES. Yeah, we're looking at some not strange, but things are in breakout and they're either pulling back a lot, it's just a big pullback. Or maybe this is an upside fake out. A pump fake out. But we're going to look for 3-day setups. We're going to look for 3-day buildups and opportunities and templates. In fact, let's remind ourselves quickly what those templates are. All right, market only does 3 things: breakout, trend, reverse, or stay in a trading range. But first, this is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education, informational purposes only, without any express supply, warranty of any kind, including words of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. Great. All right, we're going to go and just remind ourselves real quick, what are the templates? And they're all based around, number one, the fact that the market moves in threes, the fact that the market is fractal, and the fact that the market is only capable of doing 3 things: trending, reversing, or staying inside of a trading range. And we also understand that we can have bars trending. Again, fractal nature of markets. We could have bars trending higher, as in, like if I were to look at these bars and say, well, these bars are making lower lows and lower highs, so we are in a trend. It is trending lower. But we also have larger swing points where we have highs and lows being created and broken, and structure being formed. And then ultimately we have the outside, which is previous day's levels, previous week's levels, and previous month's levels. Okay. Once we're on the outside, trades tend to occur a lot more clean, and that's where the setups really come from. So if we have a box here, which is the outside, right? This is the outside. So previous days or previous week's levels. We have a day that was formed, which is a previous day's high and low, which would be day 1. The next day would break out. That would be day 2. And then on day 3, you're looking for a pullback for a trend, a breakdown for a reverse, or along those lines. Okay, we can also have, which would be a breakout day one trend trade or a breakout, basically a high of week reversal. All right, a week reversal would be something like this. High of week, basically a trend trade would be the other one. Okay, you also have a day that was formed, which we could consider. I won't even call it day one. I'm going to call it A, all right, just to keep things more simple. We're going to skip these ads. We have A, all right, and then on B, you would have behavior, some kind of behavior, right? This could be the third day of breakouts. This could be, it could be an inside day even. Your B could be an inside day. And then on C, you would have a movement and maybe 3 legs to the high for a, again, high of week reversal. Or, again, a breakout, a pullback, and a continuation on C for a trend trade. And that would be that range expansion opportunity that we just saw a couple days ago, like this. All right, so that would be an inside day or an inside bar. Either looking for, 3 stair steps into the high or steps into the low for a reversal or breakout pullback trend on a range expansion. Okay, another template, we would have maybe like a first red or a first green, so you would have your A. And then on B, they go to the high or they go to the low, and I'll just use a first red day example where day has opened on the, maybe on the inside of the previous day's range or whatever. They've gone to the outside. They've attempted to go higher, and then it has now failed to go higher on B. All right, basically a failed breakout high of week. And then on C, we are looking for lower low to be put in place, follow through. Breakout pullback, follow through. 3 legs to the high of the day, breakdown, pullback, follow through. Those are the templates that we're looking for every single day. Never changes. So let's go see if we could find some of those. Okay, we also have like the 3-day rectangles and things like that, which could be maybe potentially even showing up here. Elite, when you start with market structure, which high or low do you hit? Beginning of the day. You could use the beginning of the day. But if I notice maybe from yesterday, something like this, it might make me go back a little bit further and just see how long we've been in consolidation and things. But anyways, so Friday, we had a breakout close. All right, they broke out. It was basically a first green day, and they closed. And that was a breakout on the inside of the previous week's range, which the high of the previous week is back over here. All right, we closed in breakout on Friday, back in the other direction. And then yesterday on Monday, we had an inside day, which yesterday was also the opening range for the week. We've now came down, which was also a bit of first red. This could have been a first red, but let's see. Have we been triggering previous week's levels? Yes. Did we close in breakout? Ooh, actually, no, we did not. Maybe we did. It's very close. It's almost kind of hard to tell. This might actually have been an inside day and a first red. It's kind of hard to tell. It did close as a down close day. But as far as, is this a good first red that I should be watching? I'm not really sure. What do you all think? Inside day. A breakout, a consolidation, inside first red. Broke down today, potentially putting in a lower low. And now we've popped it back up in consolidation, maybe leg 1, consolidation, maybe leg 2, or consolidation, maybe leg 3. One thesis. The other thesis is we're in breakout. We've had a pause. And maybe a failure to go lower. If we're working at the low of the week, maybe we're going back up. Maybe we're going back up. I think I'm good with either thesis. I think I would be good with either thesis. I don't mind this. It's day 2 of the week. Maybe we're looking to expand the range of Monday. Where's the previous week's low? Down over here? What do you all think? I think that at the very least, either one of those would be okay. Those are both decent templates. I'm just going to wait and see which one of them shows up. Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of... Where's my... Hold on. I'm going crazy. I don't ever change these lines from solid. Oh, there we go. The only time I really change these from solid is whenever there is a previous week's level. Sometimes I'll change. Ooh, that looks good. I'm going to do that. I'm weird about my lines. Yeah, I'm good with this. I wouldn't mind watching this. Forex Factory. Let's go and look at the calendar real quick just to remind ourselves and for me to remind myself. Today is Tuesday. No news on the calendar. No news on the calendar yesterday. No news on the calendar tomorrow. Yikes. It's pretty light. We do have a little bit on Thursday. Nothing crazy. Do have a little bit on Friday. Yeah, front side of the week might not really be that great. Well, let's keep looking. Let's go to US 30. We got 3 minutes to the open. I think this is probably going to be something very similar. Now, this has been breaking out to the upside. Okay, remember a few weeks back we had this sort of breakdown where they broke down, they closed in breakout. Oh no, my lines are broken. Help. All right. We had a breakdown. They broke below the previous week's low and closed down over here. So it could be breakout week 1. And then they went back to the high and it broke out. And now we're sitting on top of the breakout. And that's just kind of where we are. So from this, we can form the belief or the assumption that this is either a big breakout pullback and we might start seeing some higher highs and higher lows being formed over here, which is what I would want to see for a low of week reversal. In this case, it would be kind of a trend trade back towards the high because we've broken back out to the upside. Or 3-day template, all right, breakout inside first red. Yeah, we've had a lot of weeks of rise. That's kind of why I'm watching this as maybe this is a pump fake in the last leg. So basically, I would look for this to continue to break down and follow through. We've got this huge spike to the low. It failed to go low over here. Structurally, we're still making lower lows and lower highs. The bottom of a box has potentially become the top of a box, which is a breakout pullback. I don't like that they've retested it multiple times and then failed to go lower. But it could just be setting up for the New York session because now we have a rectangle. So I like US 30 as well. All right, big thumbs up out there if you all are tracking along. Am I going too fast for you all? These, a big portion of this is for you all. So if I'm going too fast, please let me know. If I'm doing good, please let me know. Not because I need to know that I'm doing well. I just want to know that you all are doing good. Awesome. Let's go on. Nikolai, good morning. Yeah, we're about to do the Russell here in 2 seconds. All right, gold. Again, box. So here's your A. All right. Here's your B, which is your breakout close. Now, in this case, we had a breakout close, which led to a C being an inside day. So we almost need to transition this over. So now we have a breakout close, an inside day, and now we've hit both sides of the range, which is a little trappy. I don't really want, again, it seems like every day I've said this. I don't want to be a part of gold's garbage and their trash and their nonsense. I mean, look at this. US 30, yeah. I think things are looking decent. 931. Let's go over here. Russell, yeah, same thing. Okay, so this one has broke back up above previous day's levels. Might be a little breakout pullback. This looks very similar to US 30. Okay. Oil. Okay, 3 days of breakouts. Pulled back. Possibly making lower lows and lower highs on the day. Except it's dropped down early in the day and gone into consolidation above previous day's levels. I like oil a lot, actually. I like this a lot. Oil looks... It is really set up for something. For a squeeze. This is gonna... I have a feeling this has a strong potential to turn into something very clean. Three days of breakouts. Lower lows and lower highs on the day. A bit of a capitulating move and a failure to go lower. Drop down. Kind of looks a little rough. I like it though. I like it though. Even if I just get it for a scalp. Okay, let's go over yonder. I don't like gold, by the way. I think gold is... It probably does have potential to parabolic squeeze. We've got this big 1, 2, 3. You know, we've got maybe trap volume that they're trying to push things lower. They can't, but they also can't. It's just in consolidation. I don't really know. I think that I have better options. I think there probably will be or can be a trade on there. But do I have better options? I'm going to have to say yes. I think I do have better options, and I'm going to focus on those. And if I'm completely wrong and gold was the trade, well, you know what? So be it. So be it. So I could, Jay. So I've got the futures over here, and I think it's this one here. I could technically trade the pound. It just moves a little weird on this. It's a little clunky. I'm not a fan, honestly. Just the way that things, if you look at the one, like things just don't feel, they feel very strange. My entries, my exits, they feel weird. So I really do prefer just sticking to my NASDAQ and things. Is it me or can you step up the volume? Can everybody hear me okay? Do I need to open my mouth and speak louder? I hear you well. All right, yeah. Hey, Bitcoin, it might just be you, unfortunately. I don't like to ever just assume, but I know I have a lot of mic problems. A little louder? I don't think. In fact, I don't think I can. No, I can't. It's turned all the way up. I just need to open my mouth and speak louder. Okay, a bit of an interesting first five on indexes. Russell, not as much. Russell actually kind of just whipped both sides. But I'm very curious to see what the next five do. The next five do. What am I saying? I'm interested in the next five. Nice. And y'all are talking about the 10 o'clock. Maybe it is 10 o'clock. Maybe the new hour is the time to watch today. No news on the calendar. Things are looking mighty clean on indexes. Well, they could be. They have the potential to become very clean. It's really gonna, there is news at 10. Florian, you've got to be screwing with me, surely, right? We just looked at it on Forex Factory. You're screwing with me, right? Oh, y'all are messing with me. You're pulling my chain. There's no way. We just looked at it. Did they add it on? All right, I'm not crazy. Thank God. I gave it 10 minutes. Someone else is going to pop in here and be like, there's news at 10. And I'm just going to, my eyes are going to come out of my head. I'm just kidding. It's funny. Enough to make a move. Maybe the orange news is the orange news this week is the more important thing. Because there is no other news. That'd be interesting. I've actually never really thought about that. Maybe I should pay attention more to the orange news on weeks where there's no news. Like normally it wouldn't be high impact, but because it's a week with no other news, the orange might be a little bit more high impact. Who knows? I don't think so. Yeah. I might be reaching with that one, huh? Although I will say I've seen orange news whip the market pretty good. And it'll surprise me because I don't look for the orange news. I only look for the major red. And then all of a sudden the market will do something. And I'm just like, oh, well, okay, sure. Consumer confidence. Okay. Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, 75 of you out there right now. Surely we've got some lurkers out there. Come on in, say hello. Everybody's friendly. We haven't had any trolls in a while, which is nice. Basically, we're just waiting right now for the new hour or maybe a breakout. We're looking for a confirmation. Yeah, exactly, Shaky. Exactly. It certainly could. Expect the unexpected. I've got to be really honest with you. I kind of do hope this breaks down and turns into that setup where it's broken down and we go sideways and it follows through. Because I'm a lot better at seeing those than I am the long. ALM, good to have you here. Do you have a majority setup or preferred setup? Not really, honestly. I think the indexes look good, and I think oil has the way that this has come down here and gone into consolidation like this. It looks, like maybe it has potential, but for like a 3-day opportunity, indexes, there is potential. It would just have to follow through a certain way. But I'd also be okay with the trend thesis, right? We've broken out. We've had a day of pause and a pullback, a bit of a 3-day rectangle here. Maybe we're going to trigger the low and go back for the high. I don't know. But I'm also okay with the first red day thesis because we've had 3 weeks of rise. We've gone back to the high of the week, high of previous week, and maybe broke down. I would be fine with either thesis. I'd be fine with either one. I'm just waiting for whichever one confirms. I think I'm going to be okay with it. Got some pretty heavy storms out there. A lot of thunder and lightning. Hopefully I don't lose my power. If I randomly disappear, either my house is blown away, which would be very bad, or I've lost power, which is only a little bad. I was kind of hoping, so they would be kind of like we've broken down, and then we've got these 3 peaks here. We had the big strong reversal off this low, right? So they've came back down maybe for a 3rd time. They tried once, tried twice, 3 times, or maybe this is 3 times. And then we engulfed at the open. They closed it below the previous day's close, which is kind of doo-doo. And then we immediately lost momentum, but it was a retest of the bar's low. So if this bar would have followed through, I would have said, hey, this is a failure to go lower for like the 3rd or the 4th time and a breakout. Maybe that thesis is correct. And on top of that, it would be a inside bar reversal back to the high of the week. So it'd be like a low of week back to high of week, which would be good. It would also have been a first red day trap coming from the close, which is a part of my playbook, which would have allowed me to execute, right? It would be a squeeze coming from the previous day's close to go back up. That's part of the playbook. So, that hasn't happened yet. In fact, we're kind of doing maybe the opposite. Maybe I do need to stick with this thesis. I don't really know yet. Definitely saying a lot of words, no action to be taken. Really just thinking it through. I don't like the fact that they've done this again. Every single open this week and the past few days now has been peak the low, peak the high, hold it in the range, consolidate, wait a little while, whip the low, whip the high again, and then hold it for the rest of the day. We can't really do much with that. small M. And I've also noticed their closing bars. They're closing a little bit lower. One thing I will point out, though, all of this is on the inside of this 1 bars range. We're in a 1 bar trading range. They've hit the low. They've hit the high. And now they're holding in the middle. This is the first 5 minutes of the New York Open, which is meant to be the opening range for the session. And now we're just sitting on the inside again. The other thing with this, we have not made a higher high on the day. We've broken down, we've made lower lows. And then after this breakdown, we've popped back up. But really no higher high. Interesting. Very interesting. Got 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on this bar to close. Maybe testing the low of the week. This is 3 peaks, though. That would go very well with this thesis. Lower low, peak 1, peak 2, peak 3. Samir, I'm doing really well. Really well. I hope you're doing well. I don't think I've talked to you in a bit. One minute and 30 seconds left on this bar. Okay, we got 54 seconds left on this bar. I am at break even. Currently up 22 points. Yeah, I just finessed it on the 1. I finessed it on the 1, and I'm gonna probably move my stop. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it right where it is. The thesis of why I've moved my stop is because there's a good chance they pin down to this level, and this turns into a really big trap. All right, I got stopped out at break even. Plus 3 points, but that was pretty much nothing. I do like how this bar is just closed, though, so I'm going to look for a re-entry. More than likely, though, on a breakout, if it breaks down like it has here, that's a really big bar to the low, and this would be like the 3rd or the 4th time. It's already making lower lows elite. It's already broken down. So now all I need is just a completion of the pattern. I wonder if this is going to turn into a trap. Yeah, Nikolai, that's what I kind of thought just now. Maybe this was going to confirm that. And it still could. Okay, I want to point that out. It still could. I'm glad that I managed that the way that I did. I did a very good job of, number one, I shorted a bull candle. When this bar was all the way up here, I shorted it. And then it followed through, and that allowed me to get to break even. Because I was essentially shorting at support, which is fine because we're making lower lows and lower highs on the day here with a thesis in mind. But still very well managed. I went into it with a very good, sound mind. And I still am. I might even be willing to flip long. If this breaks back up above this bar and closes higher than this and closes as a breakout of the close, I'd be willing to take that. Now, all of this is just speculation. I just keep saying all these things because it's going through my head, which it probably seems like a lot. It's not. All right. The reason I'm looking for the long is it would be a 3-day trend trade breakout, pull back inside bar. We've triggered the low, going back for the high from the low of the current week back to the high of the week. I would be looking for the short because we have a first red day, a large pumping day, Then we have a day that opened, tried to go higher and failed, closed below the current day's open and the yesterday's close, giving us a first red. They've made a lower low here on the inside of the previous week's range. And then it's Tuesday. Typically expands the range of the week, or the opening range. So looking to expand the range down towards the previous week's low. That would be the reason for the short. Just playing the range. Yeah. It does kind of seem like that, right? Because we have these humongous spikes into the low. Huge spike into the low that immediately gets bought back up. In a case like this, if they immediately buy it back up and then it fails to make a higher high, that's where we would look to go short. But if it immediately gets soaked back up and then they continue to squeeze, then it's a squeeze, and I can trade that. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see if it does exactly what we just talked about. Or if this is just the biggest middle finger the world has ever seen. And that would just tell me to not trade this today at all, because like I said, I don't want to play games. It's ridiculous. I would say that if I was to want to get in with a small size, I would at least wait for an engulfment on the 1-minute chart in the opposite direction. There's a lot of strong up-close candles right now, which could be a trap, but I also just like to wait for a little bit of confirmation in the other way. I just know that is a really big, strong down close with a very strong retracement back up. And if you look at US 30, they're kind of doing the same thing. Make a higher high, slam it back down. Make a higher high, slam it back down. They're allowing longs to make money, but not a lot. Shorts are not making money. Shorts are getting trapped, which is part of the equation for a squeeze. If they squeeze it higher. What are the other times? I'm kind of stuck down here on the 5. What are the... Ooh. All of this is on the inside of this one bar. If you look at the hourly chart, notice how the entire day there has not been a single breakout of the entire day. All of this has been on the inside. Whereas like other days, you know, the day begins and then there's a breakout and a pullback and a breakout and a pullback, which, you know, breaks out and then ends the day kind of in consolidation. Today we opened, we broke out, and then all day we just sat on the inside. Same thing on US 30. Okay, oil has not. Oil has actually been moving a little bit, which is good. Big push down 1, big push down 2, big push down 3. Three minutes to the new hour. And then here's the stop out from what I was just talking about. Okay, I was in with a micro. So I was in small. Was in very small. Had a little starter on there. No big deal. Looks good. Yeah. This is good price action. Never seen better actually. Oh yeah. Oh, we're gonna do some hands sitting. Here comes 10 o'clock. How's this hour going to close? Failing to go higher once again. It did break the high, but it failed to go higher again. Failed to close higher, excuse me. Should probably clarify that, because obviously it did go higher. It just failed to close higher. Now the Russell is interesting because it broke above the high of the day. But had a good bounce off the previous day's low. It sure did. It sure did. If you're good with V bottom reversals, more power to you. I'm not. I'm not good at V bottoms. 10:01. Oil has also not triggered the level. It came down and just consolidated just above it, but didn't trigger it, which I don't really care for. Because it makes me feel like this is just fake. Like they're still going to go back down. But this pattern's so good, they dropped it down. They've been in a consolidation since 5, almost 6. So we'll call it 4 hours. And a little consolidation that broke out, went into a channel, has been squeezing higher, is now breaking out up. Price action wise, it's good. I just don't like the fact that they haven't triggered that level. Let's see here. I'm going to go over to the old micro crude. What is it doing? About a minute left. I have not entered. Is there at least a 3-day opportunity? We had breakout. No, this is 3 days of breakouts. So we have been breaking out and going higher, which that's a plus. But this is a pretty deep pullback for us to... No, I think I'm going to just stick with what I was already looking at. All right, I still have not entered on anything. I'm watching this kind of close. But I have pretty low expectations right now. Got 4 minutes left on this 5-minute bar. We're into the first 10 minutes now of the new hour. NASDAQ is testing the pain of the shorts. It could. It could. where would the shorts be allowed to start making money again? I guess it'd be down at the low of that 5 minute bar. Right now, it looks like the longs are the ones making money. Really just whipped both sides, and now it's just holding. I think that no one's making money. I think everyone is unsure. And I'm unsure, so that's not good. I also think it's freezing in this room, and I'm a lizard. There we go. Now I can go back to my lizard behavior. Got to keep the room warm. Let's go. We'll take a look at the CAD. That's got strong potential. A high that broke out and failed, lower low, an attempt at a higher high that failed. First red, this low down here. Let's pop back up. Peak 1, peak 2, peak 3, lower low, pops back up. I'd want to see it start allowing these shorts to make money again, but that it does have potential. That is the pattern. Honestly, it looks better than anything else that we're looking at, if I'm being honest. The only problem with this is it hasn't made it's gone up. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely patience today. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. I'm not really feeling it. Oil's into a new 5 minute bar. That's a pretty big rejection on NASDAQ. Three minutes left on the bar. Wonder if it's going to squeeze or not. Yeah, it really has, hasn't it? They're just slamming things in both directions, every which way. It's probably not the best, huh? The Russell? Yeah. Russell seems like it's the only one that's moving, huh? Oh, what a boring couple of days here. Yeah, true that, Florian. Yeah. Did gold end up being anything? No. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not excited about anything. Even if this goes at this point, I don't even think I would really be willing to take it. Just because of how consolidated and ridiculous this is. I am going to wait until tomorrow. Or maybe the day after that. Or maybe I don't even, this week, this entire week just might be a throwaway in general. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have a good rest of your day. Sat on our hands. I will see you all tomorrow. Bright and early, 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time, ready to go. Bye-bye.